This was my first experience with what personalized finance looks like. At that team, every portfolio was made with that unique person in mind. Think about every security that was selected in there. White glove service, personalized attention was made with that one person in mind. Their preferences, their risk profile, their goals, all taken into consideration to select one investment. Personalization has always been a definition of the elite. It has always been, for generations, there has been tailors, financial advisors, we've had personal chefs attending to a particular, a very small percentage of the population. But technology has been democratizing that personalization. And before we go into how that is happening, I want to take a brief detour to the history of the internet. Now, some of you here, only some of you maybe, may remember those dial-up internet connections or those pixelated Alta Vista or Yahoo web pages. That was Web 1.0. That was the static web. And we were basically window shoppers of the internet. We would go into a website, read it, and leave. Our data that we left behind was minimal. Maybe, there's a record of me in 2002 searching a website or downloading an image, but that interaction was minimal. But then came Web 2.0. Now, this was the social butterfly era of the internet. This is where we truly started sharing information about ourselves. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, along with email and cloud storage came alive. We started sharing photos about ourselves, about our families, about our pets, the food we ate, where we traveled. All of this, we started sharing more and more personal information. Financial services also, looking at you, Quick and Mio here, also started building their platforms. And during this, we started connecting bank accounts, and we started sharing more and more and more data. Now, it didn't stop there, because then we had the smartphone. And with the smartphone, these little these little devices that follow us everywhere, I have mine here, they started tracking our every move with location services. We started sharing not only our steps, we started sharing our oxygen levels through our smartphones, our health indicators. So we started sharing a lot of data about ourselves. But then came the app revolution. All those Uber or Waze applications that not only know where you are today, but your destination. Some of you may have also downloaded, facial recognition apps to make you look older or younger, or filters to make you look prettier, right? So all this data, every click, every comment, every interaction, this is how we started building our digital footprints. Footprints that would lead back to us across this entire digital platform. Just to give you an idea of the amount of data that we produce daily, just Facebook, we have 4.75 billion items shared a day worldwide. That's all these people sharing information. And Facebook is just the biggest one. But add up across all those other platforms and we're sharing a lot of data. This is the amount of applications that we download every year. Just in 2023, we downloaded 257 billion apps, all of them collecting a piece of your identity. And all this data, right, all this data that we've been collecting for over 20 years now, by itself, they cannot really build a portfolio of assets for you or build a financial strategy for you. But at this moment in time, okay, we have two things happening that are a tremendous leap forward to where we can take hyper-personalized experiences even further. The first one is Gen Z. Now, raise your hands here if you're a part of the Gen Z generation. A few of you, okay. So you guys are the real MVPs of the digital world. It was basically you were born with a smartphone in your hand and your language is made up of, algorithms and apps. You have been raised in this environment where everything has been customized for you. Your TikTok ads and feeds, your Instagram, that you expect personalization to happen in everything you do. You no longer have to watch cable or listen to the radio for just everything that gets fed to you. You're actually a generation that wants more and more personalization. But you're also a generation that were brought up with privacy in mind. You know what to share or are more conscious and are asking institutions to actually do more of that for you, to show you where the data is going. Now, in terms of tech, and I'll move a little faster, in terms of tech, right now, and we've seen a lot of tech today, but we are in a particular moment in history where we have never seen the convergence of streams in tech that we're seeing today. And Sheryl Sandberg says it here, there's no historical parallel for the current convergence of technologies. Sorry. So I want to talk about a few of the technologies that are making this hyper-personalized world possible. The first one is AI. You've all heard about AI, but I want you to imagine financial data as a vast ocean, okay? Where every little speck of salt out there is a data point about the markets. Now, think about AI as having the ability to go through this entire ocean and pick up signals and insights that are relevant to your portfolio. To give you an idea of the power of AI in financial markets, I actually started my career almost, a long time ago, I won't say it, but I started as a data analyst at Bloomberg. And my first 6 months of my job were basically to take credit facility agreements, those are very, very long legal documents about a deal, and pull out data points that were relevant to fill the Bloomberg terminal with all that data. Today, I'm designing, that process of going through one document to pull 20, 40 data points took about 20 to 40 minutes to do. And I had to do this every day for 6 months. Hundreds of these documents processed. Today, I'm designing applications that are focused on those credit agreements that take out all the data points that I want, but can also compare it with other deals out there and give me insights in seconds. If I had known this would happen, I would have probably applied to that job today. But Barbara, that job may not even exist anymore based on your presentation. The other thing that is happening is the Internet of Things. Now think about these as all the cameras out there, your smartwatches, your smart scale, your smart refrigerators, all of these devices are interconnected data donors. They're constantly sharing data about ourselves. And to give you an idea, there's, in 2023, we had about 17 billion, in 2030, we're gonna have about 17 billion devices connected worldwide, connected to us. If you take that and divide it by the population, every human will be generating data across at least 2 devices. Again, this is data about your bodies, your health, your car, where you're going, and all of this. Now, blockchain. I want you to think of blockchain as the coral reef in this vast ocean that we're talking about. Blockchain will be able to finally provide the trust that we need in financial markets. Because across all these data points and across all these transactions that we're seeing, it is the technology to provide a secure, transparent, and immutable source of information for us. It is the one that will create that ledger across everything we're producing and will finally help us get to that trust. And quantum. Quantum is still in its very nascent stage, But I want you to think of quantum as a submarine, as a very advanced submarine across the oceans that can not only go as ships today from point A to B, or binary operations of zeros and ones. Quantum actually works off qubits, which if you think about a coin of having two faces, quantum can look at the data or do calculations at both levels, making sure all this data of information that we've generated, that we have out there, can be done in seconds. Insights, signals from it, and all of that can be really processed really quickly. Now, we know that we all need personalization. We want it. The stats here show that this generation specifically wants more of it. And we're going to see advantages and disadvantages to that. And I want to start with the positives. We've heard about inclusion in the financial markets. One of the key areas where personalization will change is that giving that accessibility. Think about the financial products today that have a very rigid set of criteria before you can go into them. When I first started at college, it was pretty much impossible for me to get anything else other than a debit card. If you could expand those data points, expand the data that gets collected from us, you could open that gap between the unbankable and bankable faster. And I know you both are working on it, Max and Fernando, but it's really about including a lot more data into a person credit risk profile in order to give them that ability. The other trend we're seeing is that a lot of people with wealth don't even know how to invest. What do I invest my money in, right? So personalization of finance, specifically with robo-advisors, can now give users the ability to hold their hands across the whole investment process. Include them in, not only the stocks and equities out there, but also the private investments. If we could build more platforms that allow more people to enter the financial systems and allow them and give them the education they need in order to enter and go through that gap. The other benefit to personalizing, think about, and I want to do a quick survey here. Think about, would you ever go to the gym, at least, or any other physical activity? Would you do that at least once more if you knew that had a direct impact on your insurance, on your health insurance? Like if going and doing extra physical activity could reduce your health insurance, who here would do that? Okay. What about if I told you that if we can track the amount of processed food that you eat, we could lower your life insurance by 10%? Who would be opt for that? Okay, so that is the level of what, another benefit of personalization is changing behavior, is being able to connect people to their habits and lower those premiums, at least on the insurance or other benefits side. Now, we all know that with, it's not only on the benefit side. There's going to be challenges, and we're seeing them today with a hyper-personalized world. And those challenges, of course, are your data. We are all giving out information to banks, information to social media. We all, as development, firms, as banks, as institutions, as consumers, need to be very, very careful with the data that we give out. We need to be conscious of every click, every interaction we do out there stays there forever, right? There's a record of that will ever live digitally. And we all need to be conscious and use that correctly. A hyper-personalized world in an environment that is not managed, imagine all your data being collected, not to create a good portfolio for you, but to maybe surveil you, or even worse, to discriminate you against these financial products. Now it's all, we're all here together, and change comes from all of us. We need to make sure that all of us here are conscious of the data that we give out, the products that we want, and the future that we want to shape. Thank you.